Member for Kew on a question.
Thank you, Speaker. My question is to the Minister for Education. There are hundreds of registered staff facing serious allegations of misconduct who the Victorian Institute of Teaching has failed to place on interim suspension. How can students be safe with these teachers still in the classroom?
Minister for Education.
Thank you, Speaker, and I thank the Shadow Minister for her question. And this is a very serious matter. And I want to make it very clear to all members that we take the safety and wellbeing of our students incredibly seriously. Indeed, I met with the head of the Victorian Institute of Teaching this morning as soon as I saw that article that appeared. And I want to reassure all our families that safety of children across our education system is our priority. I also sought assurances from the Victorian Institute of Teaching. There is no teacher currently out there that we have any concern about. Specifically in relation to the question asked, in 2017 there was a review by the Victorian Institute of Teaching, headed by a well-known public servant, Penny Armitage. Our government acquitted every single recommendation of that review, and indeed it was our government that introduced the reportable conduct scheme that has seen a big increase in teachers being reported. That's why I sought assurances today that the Victorian Institute of Teaching is adequately resourced. It has a bigger budget, more staff than ever before, making sure that our education system is the finest in the nation. But also, Speaker, can I say there is also a case prioritisation list, whereas most of the serious cases are prioritised and dealt with over 6 months. Now, the opposition should know better too. We know when you are dealing with legal proceedings, it takes time. It takes time to get the evidence. It takes time to get the evidence, and that is what has occurred on a handful of cases where there has been court judicial proceedings underway, and the Victorian Institute of Teaching has worked alongside that, and we are getting on making sure that they're competitive and they're making sure that our Victorian Institute of Teaching continuously to be well-resourced and well-funded, and that was what I saw today from the head, and it's what I believe so, and we are getting on with the job of making sure. The only risk to your leadership. We are getting on with the job of making sure that we invest in the education state, and our Victorian Institute of Teaching, with our government, has funded and resourced, continues to be the oversight and the regulator of teachers, and making sure that every student, in particular everyone, can be very, very, very safe, that every teacher is fully registered. We also put conditions on our teacher registrations when they come up for renewal, and we'll continue to do that to making sure. Thank you.
Member for Kew on a supplementary question.
Thank you, Speaker. Will the Minister commit to an immediate independent audit of the backlog of misconduct allegations concerning Victorian teachers?
Minister for Education.
Thank you, Speaker. As I said in my primary answer, the Victorian Institute of Teaching, which I met with today, is getting through all of the cases, all of the case management. The most serious cases, you should just listen for one tick if you can. The most serious cases where it might be an allegation of misconduct, whether it be an assault or a sexual assault, they are dealt with very timely and very quickly. The majority of cases which concern often when a teacher has had contact with a student outside of school hours, they have taken a bit more time because it's needed evidence and it's needed different resources. And we are getting on with making sure that we have a adequately resourced Victorian Institute of Teaching. And yes, our schools are safe and they are places to go, and there are no teachers where they should be. And we are getting on showing those teachers that are in question have been suspended, and while they aren't out in the workforce as they shouldn't be, we're getting on making sure that there is due process. I would have thought something the opposition leader would also want due process.
On a minister's statement, I call the Minister.